What's up, y'all? Just want to make a little video about the rapture. Now, a lot of people believe that there is no rapture, that all believers are going to have to go through the tribulation. But I used to be one of those people because the word rapture isn't in the Bible, and it's not specifically stated that we'll be saved out of that time, except in one part. And in one verse it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, God will send forth his angels and gather his elect. But after what tribulation of those days? Because John himself in Revelation said, I am your brother and companion in tribulation. See, Christians have been going through tribulation for the last 2,000 years. I don't think Jesus is speaking about the Great Tribulation when he said that. But I'm going to go through some verses. Jesus said it'll be just as the days of Noah. What happened in the days of Noah? Noah and his family were saved. They were rescued. And then destruction came on the whole earth. Everyone else was wiped out. He said it's going to be just as in the days of Lot. What happened in the days of Lot? Lot and his family were rescued. And then Sodom and Gomorrah were wiped out. I'm going to go through some of these verses. There's also 2 men will be in the field, one taken, the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a handmill, one taken, the other left. And the people who believe we're going to have to go through the tribulation come up with ways to explain that away, but that's what it's speaking of. Isaiah 26:20 and 21 says, Come, my people, enter into your chambers, and shut the doors behind you. Hide yourself, as it were for a little moment, until the indignation is past, the wrath of God. For behold, the Lord comes out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity, for their sin. And the earth shall disclose her blood. The earth shall disclose her blood. All the blood spilled on the earth is going to come up. And shall no more cover her slain. I mean, even this is where people get the word rapture. After that, we who were still alive, speaking about after the resurrection, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so will we be with the Lord forever. John 4:1. After this I looked, and there before me was a door standing open in heaven. And the voice I had heard first, speaking to me like a trumpet, said, Come up here, and I will show you what will take place after this, in the tribulation. That's right before he gets the revelation of the whole tribulation. Remember that open door. It's the same door as this door. Make every effort to enter through the narrow door, because many, I tell you, will try to enter and will not be able to. Once the owner of the house gets up and closes the door, he will stand outside knocking and pleading, "Sir, open the door for us." But he will answer, "I do not know you or where you are from." It's the same door that John was caught up through. Same door as this. But when they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went with him into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the others came. "Lord, Lord," they said, "open the door for us." But like in the other video I just made, speaking about how I believe all believers might be called up, but only the ones who are ready, the ones who are truly righteous, walking in his ways, are let in to the wedding feast, and the other ones cast back down to earth. John 14:3. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. Revelation 3:10. Speaking to the church of Philadelphia. See, 6 of the 7 churches mentioned in Revelation have to go through the tribulation. But this is what was said to the church of Philadelphia. The true believers, the ones walking in his ways. Since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole world to test the inhabitants of the earth. See, it's few that are saved from the tribulation, but there are those who are saved. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, just like John heard the trumpet, and he was caught up through the open door. And they will gather his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Daniel 12:1. And at that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince, which stands for the children of your people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. At that time, at the beginning of the tribulation. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep or die, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, just like John heard the trumpet, and he was called up through that door. And the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Revelation 14:1. Then I looked, and there before me was the Lamb, Jesus, standing on Mount Zion in heaven, and with him the 144,000, who had his name and his Father's name written on their foreheads. This is before the end of the tribulation. They were in heaven. And this is the rapture right here. Revelation 14, 15 through 16. Then another angel came out of the temple. See, the temple in heaven is open. Shown. And called in a loud voice to him who was sitting on the cloud. It's Jesus. Jesus is coming down on the cloud in the beginning of the tribulation. When he comes back at the end of the tribulation, he's going to be on a white horse. Take your sickle and reap, for the time to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So he who was seated on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was harvested. And there's others. It's written all through the Bible in the details. There's types and shadows all throughout the Bible. I've been going over types and shadows in my Sabbath videos, my Sabbath day videos. But there's all kind of types and shadows of Jesus' first coming, his second coming, the tribulation, the rapture, all that. But I'm just gonna go over this one last part. This is Psalm 18. I'm going to start with verse 6. In my distress, I called to the Lord. I cried to God for my help. From his temple, he heard my voice. My cry came up before him into his ears. The earth trembled and quaked, and the foundations of the mountains shook. They trembled because he was angry. That's a 6-seal earthquake, where the whole world shakes. Every wall falls to the ground. Smoke rose from his nostrils. Consuming fire came from his mouth. Burning coals blazed out of it. There's going to be hailstones and coals of fire coming down on the earth. Same time as the earthquake. He parted the heavens and came down. Dark clouds were under his feet. There's going to be dark clouds coming before him. Jesus. He mounted the cherubim and flew. Cherubim are angels. He soared on the wings of the wind. He made darkness his covering, his canopy around him, the dark rain clouds of the sky. He's going to be surrounded by the dark clouds when he comes down. Out of the brightness of his presence, clouds advance. With hailstones, there's the hailstones I just talked about, and bolts of lightning. That lightning is spoken about in Revelation as well. The Lord thundered from heaven. The voice of the thunders are mentioned as well in Revelation. The voice of the Most High resounded. He shot his arrows and scattered the enemy. With great bolts of lightning, he routed them. The valleys of the sea were exposed. So all the water is going to drain out of the earth. And the foundations of the earth laid bare at your rebuke, Lord, at the blast of the breath from your nostrils. And here it is. Here's the rapture. He reached down from on high and he took hold of me. He drew me out of many waters. Revelation tells us that water represents people. Many waters are many people. He reached down from on high. He took hold of me. He drew me out of many waters, out of deep waters. He rescued me from my powerful enemy, from my foes who were too strong for me. They confronted me in the day of my disaster, but the Lord was my support. He brought me into a spacious place, into heaven. He rescued me because he delighted in me. Now I'm just going to read a couple more verses. The Lord has dealt with me according to my righteousness. See how I've been talking about? The righteous are saved. The ones that are truly walking in his ways are saved. Not just if you believe in Jesus. According to the cleanliness of my hands, he has rewarded me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord. I am not guilty of turning from my God. All his laws are before me. It's about keeping the laws, keeping the commands of God. The law of God isn't done away with. All his laws are before me. This is who is being saved. I have not turned away from his decrees. I have been blameless before him and have kept myself from sin. So you can't be sinning. Can't be living in sin and expect to be saved. Expect to be saved at all, but especially from the tribulation. The Lord has rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands in his sight. And that's where I'm going to stop it. And there's many more verses, like I said, many more verses, many more places in the Bible where it's foreshadowed, where it's told you just got to dig deep. But there is a rapture. There are people that are saved from the tribulation. May God bless you guys. Get your heart right with God. Walk in his ways. Keep his commandments. Follow his law.